Good afternoon to you. Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com, here with your Hurricane Pro and HD video blog for August 8th, 2013. Here's what's going on in the tropics this afternoon. The area down in the southeast Caribbean Sea, now 0% chance of development. Not really in the cards for this to develop, as upper level winds and other environmental factors across the region not conducive for this to develop. Here's the tropical wave in question here. And as you can see, completely void of any organized convective activity. The rest of the tropical Atlantic also clear of any deep convection, as is the Gulf and the Caribbean for the most part. This is the stalled frontal boundary, or the old washed out frontal boundary that came off the southeast. In recent days, it's not going to be the focusing mechanism for anything, it does appear, so that's good news. Looking in the eastern Pacific, we have Hurricane Henriette, with winds of 100 miles per hour. Then we have another system trying to develop slowly between Henriette and this system. And this orange area, this is actually 92E, invest area 92E. It is forecast to develop and actually move on off to the west-northwest, as all these other ones have over time. Looking specifically at Henriette, the forecast track, going to pass to the south and west of Hawaii pretty easily here. In fact, if we take a look at a model plot here from our colleague over at Hurricane Analytics, Michael Watkins' site, you can see it's really neat what he's done. The forecast cone of uncertainty right here, and then the models are plotted against that, and you can see that they all fall within the forecast cone, except a couple of them that are on the outside here, and that's mainly due to speed differences way out at day 5. But all of the model guidance indicating that Henriette will pass to the south of Hawaii, even the envelope, the overall clustering of models, not indicating anything turning towards Hawaii. The only effects that you may have here in the island chain is possibly some swells that impact south and east facing beaches, as Henriette passes by and weakens, still may send out a few swells. Farther to the east, we have invest area 92E. Models a little bit more divergent with this, one of them diving to the southwest, and the rest of them off to the west-northwest with time. And this is the L-bar model, not very good, it seems, right? Kind of unreliable there. The rest of them pretty much in line, and just speed differences on a trek to the west right now, and then eventually to the northwest, staying over the open Pacific. Now, one of the things I wanted to show you today, this is the current tropical cyclone heat potential map of the Atlantic Basin, and what this shows is the actual amount of energy really that's in the water, how much ocean heat potential there is. You know, the water temperatures need to be around 80 degrees or higher. And it's not just at the skin of the ocean. The deeper that warm water goes into the ocean, then the more heat content is available for hurricanes to come along and tap into. They churn up the water, and if they're churning up more heat content as they travel along, then they don't self-destruct. You can imagine they're just like these big agitation machines, literally churning up the water as they go. Well, if they churn up more 80-degree water that extends down dozens, and in some cases hundreds of feet deep, then they don't self-destruct along their track. So the heat content right now is pretty stout all across the tropical Atlantic, reaching up into the subtropics and even off the Carolina coast here. Then you have even higher heat content values south of this line, and then the highest heat content values in the Western Hemisphere are over in the Caribbean Sea. In fact, if we zoom into the Gulf and parts of the Northwest Caribbean, you can see that very, very high ocean heat content values in the Northwest Caribbean, spilling into the Florida Straits, and then even starting to build like a bullseye in the Gulf of Mexico. So we are really getting close to the prime time of the season to get started, and ocean heat content values nearing their peaks in the Atlantic Basin. This will be something that's going to be really important to watch as we get development. When will that be? Well, this is today's run of the GFS, the Global Forecast System, 8 days from now, and that's a pretty good clip out in time, but it's not so far that you completely ignore it. and it's showing something trying to develop in the southeast Gulf of Mexico, and a very healthy tropical wave, maybe even a tropical depression forming just to the southwest of the Cape Verde Islands here. Even shows the southwest tail, that curled up shrimp look to it that I talk about sometimes when you see these systems in their embryonic stages. This is 8 days from now, from this morning, so a little over a week away, and things may start to get pretty interesting in the tropics. We will watch the southeast Gulf pretty closely. Actually, it looks like something's going to try to develop in the northwest Caribbean and the Yucatan Channel. So over the next week, things might start to get more busy, and things like ocean heat content values and steering patterns, etc., are going to really come into play. Now, NOAA updated their hurricane seasonal forecast today, taking off just a couple of numbers here and there for various reasons. The bottom line, it's still forecast to be a very active season, with several hurricanes, as many as 9 hurricanes forming, and as many as 3 to 5 major hurricanes out of those 9. That's a lot of destruction potential out there for the islands, for Mexico, Central America, and the United States coastlines. So prepare now, because it's coming. I know it seems quiet. We're into August. There's nothing on the maps. We have not had a hurricane yet, but the signs are there for a very busy peak to the season later in this month and then all through September. So please do your part to be ready, and it'll help to alleviate a little bit of that stress. It can be a very stressful time. I know all about it. All right, have yourselves a good rest of your Thursday. Again, I'm Mark Sudduth for HurricaneTrack.com. That's my site. And, of course, always a privilege to do these videos for Hurricane Pro and the iPad edition, Hurricane HD. I'll talk to you again some more tomorrow.